Day 16 of 60. Open any backend that grew past a weekend project and you'll find the same disease. And if user role equals /admin/ check copy-pasted into 40 different handlers. Add a new resource type and you're grepping through the whole code base praying you didn't miss one. Today we fixed that for good. We're going to pull authorization out of your handlers and into a single, composable, testable layer. And by the end, you'll test the whole thing without ever starting an HTTP server. Here's the realistic mess. A handler pulls a role string off the JWT, compares it inline, and moves on. 3 failure modes hide in that one line. 1. Stale role data. The token was minted an hour ago. The user got demoted. Your check still says admin. 2. The forgotten check. A new endpoint ships with no guard at all, and nobody notices until it's a bug bounty. 3. It's untestable. That logic is welded to the request, so you can't exercise it in isolation. Scattered checks are checks you can't audit. The fix starts with one interface. Type policy interface, allow, CTX context. Context, subject, action string, resource, error. That's the entire contract. A subject is who's asking, an action is what they want, read, delete, and a resource is what they're touching. Return nil for allowed, an error for denied. Every authorization decision in your service now flows through this one method. Handlers stop knowing the rules. They just ask the question. Wire it once in middleware. Func authorize, P policy, action string, func, HTTP, handler, HTTP, handler. Inside, you pull claims from the JWT, build the subject, build the resource from the route, and call p.allow. If it returns an error, you write a 403 and the handler never runs. 3 lines of glue. Now every protected route is our dot with authorize, policy, /delete. The check can't be forgotten because the route can't be mounted without it. The contract lives in the router, not in someone's memory. Start with the simple case, RBAC. RBAC policy holds a map, role to a set of permitted actions. Allow loops the subject's roles, checks if any grants the action, done. But hard-coding roles in the JWT is exactly the stale data trap. So hydrate permissions per request from Redis with a short TTL, 5-10 seconds. When you revoke a role, propagation is seconds, not the token's full lifetime. The token proves identity. Redis owns authority. RBAC alone can't answer /projects/ID. The rule there isn't admins only. It's the owner or an org admin. That's ownership, and it needs the resource. So write an ownership policy whose allow loads the project, compares resource to owner ID to subject.id, and returns nil on a match. Now you have 2 policies answering different questions. Don't merge them, combine them. Combinators. Any of policies, policy, returns allowed if any child allows. That's your owner or admin logic, exactly. All of requires every child to pass, for when you need role and ownership and, say, an account that isn't suspended. Both satisfy the same policy interface, so they nest. Any of RBAC admin, ownership, is one value you pass to the same middleware. Your access rules become an expression tree you can read top to bottom, instead of nested ifs you have to trace. Now the payoff, testing. Because allow takes plain values and returns an error, you test it with zero infrastructure. Table-driven, the go way. Tests equals struct, name string, subject, action string, want bool. Loop them, call policy, allow, assert the error matches want. Owner deletes their own project, allowed. Stranger deletes it, denied. Admin overrides, allowed. No hep test, no database, no fixtures. Milliseconds. Every edge case of your auth logic, pinned down in a unit test. Day 16 done. The takeaway. Authorization is a value, not a code path. One policy interface, enforced in one middleware, composed with any of and all of, and hydrated from Redis so revocation is fast. That's a layer you can test, reuse, and audit instead of a string comparison you copy-pasted and hoped about. Tomorrow we build on this with rate limiting and quota enforcement at the same boundary. Subscribe for day 17. I'll see you there.